Last week, we talked about rising up because it was Easter. Finding that power within us, that place within us where we can overcome anything. There is a power for good and we can use it. Wow. Did you find things to do during the meditation? Were you listening to what the divine had to say about using that power? Today I want to explore the four kingdoms of consciousness. We move among them on a daily basis. We're humans with divine souls, and our consciousness dictates how we see life. So as we explore today, here's the question for you. What's the one choice you can make today so that you experience the truth of unity with all that is? What's the one choice you can make today so that you experience the unity with all that is? You know, it's a paradox that here we are, these human and spirit beings, a mashup of that divine perfection with all of our human flaws. And the personal challenge for me is to live with that mashup of divine perfection and human flaws, to overcome the humanness and my little self and seek the expression of that divine perfection that's within me. So today, I want to talk about the kingdoms of consciousness, which is a look at how we actually move through our days, how we can represent our consciousness from different viewpoints, from different realities. And I'm going to start with a really high-level view, and then I'll go into a little bit more detail. And the next couple weeks, we'll be looking at the human consciousness levels and the spiritual consciousness levels. So basically, the four kingdoms are this. The first kingdom is ego. It's the victim consciousness. When we're in that victim consciousness, everything's done to me. It's all out there happening to me. But if we move into the second kingdom, we're in a kingdom where things are done by me. So I'm taking a little bit more control over my life and becoming more accountable. Things are done by me. When we get a chance to move into the third kingdom, there's a critical shift from the human life to a more spiritual life. And in this kingdom, we're allowing Spirit to have us do things as Spirit flows through me. Love becomes the dominant energy in this third kingdom. Then there's the fourth kingdom, and it's about enlightenment. It's about things being done as me in the sense that I understand that there is a unity with all that is, and any sense of separation disappears. So the as me is a little bit not quite perfect, because if we're all one, there is no me. But it's really a concept of becoming unified and living the oneness. So let's go back and look at a few of those kingdoms in just a little bit more detail today, because we're just doing a little quick overview. In that first kingdom, I said it's all about your ego and victimhood and life is happening to me. In this kingdom, we use force instead of power because the ego is in control. There is really little truth to this kingdom, because basically when we live in this kingdom, we come to a place from our hidden beliefs that we need to live out of lack, out of fear. And that's not the essence of who we are. It's not who we've come here to be. I had a moment of victimhood in Kingdom 1 last week. Yesterday it was hailing. And all I could hear in my mind was this, hail, hail, Gang's all here. And I started to get really upset and sad because I'm missing my family. I mean, this stay at home is really keeping us limited to where we can be. I was supposed to be traveling and seeing great friends, and I was starting to feel a little bit of poor me. That's Kingdom One, poor me. And then all of a sudden something shifted, and I realized this is really funny. I started laughing at myself about how the hail brought about that song into my mind. I mean, that's kind of silly. And when I shifted to laughing about the situation and recognizing it's just what it is, and it wasn't that, it was how I looked at it, I shifted into the second kingdom. That kingdom where it's about me taking more control of my life. We cross a critical line of integrity when we move from the first kingdom to the second kingdom, because we start realizing that it's not about stuff being done to me, it's about me choosing what I want in my life. So I can live in the poor me of, oh my gosh, I was supposed to be doing all these fun things and my life is not the way I want it to be. Or I can live in the, wow, it's so great that I have Zoom and FaceTime and I can really still talk with my family. I had a FaceTime Easter dinner with my family. It was great. It's about looking and shifting how I'm looking at life to taking more control over what's going on and how I'm looking at this particular kingdom. Now, this kingdom is sometimes called the kingdom of princesses, palaces, and parking places because it's a kingdom where we manifest things. Now, we might wish for a great parking place. And I can tell you that when I lived in Portland and my daughter and I would go shopping, she would always want to go with me at Christmas time because I could always get a front row parking place. I was just lucky. I manifested great parking places. It was about consciousness of me taking control of my life and saying, oh wow, look, and being grateful for the fact that I had a front row parking place. Putting that energy of gratitude back into the circulation of what my life looked like. I was more in control of my destiny, and I lived in, a lot of the time, in the second kingdom. But we can move into the third kingdom of consciousness, and we do that when we realize that we're not just humans on this human planet. There's this aspect of us that's connected to something greater, this domain of spiritual reality. And as I said earlier, when we start looking at life as spirit moving through me, and I recognize that everything in life is really love or someone calling to be loved, I can live from a place where love is the dominant energy. So when we live from this place, we are standing in the truth of knowing who we are, that we are these divine expressions, and we have everything within us that we need to have a life that's filled with compassion and joy and love. If you read any of the words of wisdoms this week, I was talking about dancing with the divine. And when you dance with the divine, the thing about dancing is you have to trust your partner. You have to be able to lean into your partner and trust that they're going to guide you across the floor without incident. And when we're in Kingdom 3, what we're doing is trusting the divine to guide us in our life, to guide our soul so that we know how to love in every situation and how to be loved, how to accept love. Dr. John Waterhouse said this about one of the steps to freedom. Everything exists within the flow of information through which matter and energy animate the entire universe. into this dance of expressing and experiencing life. And when we're in the dance of expressing and experiencing life in a way that we're doing it in conjunction with Spirit, life is happening through me, through each of us. That's what this kingdom is all about. And I had a moment of Kingdom 3 this past week. I was writing one of the Words of Wisdom emails, and I realized that as I was writing it, this just joy went over me, because I love to dance. And I love to even think about dancing, and I love the music of dance. And it was like the email was writing itself. And I recognized that that is Spirit moving through me in order to create a connection with this community through the words that were on the paper. And I think that the key there is that at that moment I was open enough to just write whatever's coming down, get out of my own way, and allow Spirit to speak through me. That's Kingdom 3. Recognizing that love and Spirit are moving through us in every moment. And the last kingdom, and I did not experience the last kingdom this week, it's about enlightenment and illumination. And I've had times in my life where I experienced that. They were very special times in my life. And I would say that for me, I don't live a lot of my life in Kingdom 4. I would love to, but it's a place that takes a lot of spiritual practice to get there, and also an extreme awareness that I think I'm just growing into in terms of my connection with Spirit. Because Kingdom 4 is about expressing as Spirit on this planet. It's about living in oneness and self-realization, so that there's no sense of separation whatsoever. It's really recognizing for myself and for each of us that we are God expressing on this planet, and there is no way that we can be separated from any other person on the planet. And that for me is the challenge, because I do feel separation from other people on the planet, and I judge certain people on the planet. When you're in Kingdom 4, you are so filled up with Spirit that there's no room for separation. It just disappears. And that's when we get to that truth of unity with all that is. It's the ultimate destination of our journey. And when we reach this level, what happens is that we really let our little self, the Larry, the Debbie, the Nancy, whoever it might be, we let that go, and we recognize that we are really the presence of the divine walking on this planet. Technically, there's no little me anymore, because I realize that I'm connected to everything else. And there have been moments in my life that I felt that way, where I was so filled up with Spirit and the joy of life that I felt connected to everything. When I became a minister and walked through the meadow in Asilomar, there was that moment where I knew I was in Kingdom 4. And those moments for me are wonderful and show up as a little bit less frequently than I would enjoy. So what kingdom do you live in? For most of us, the truth is that we bounce back and forth between Kingdoms 1, 2, and 3, and we occasionally find Kingdom 4. We tend to live our lives, a lot of us in Kingdom 2 probably, in the land of form, manifesting, trying to get the things that we need to make our lives comfortable. A lot of us between Kingdoms 2 and 3, or between Kingdoms 1 and 2. Or like I said this week, I experienced all of them. Sometimes I experienced Kingdoms 1, 2, and 3 all within an hour. It just is a matter of consciousness. That's why they're called the Kingdoms of Consciousness. I want to read a quote from Christian Larson from The Pathway of Roses. When the heart begins to feel the need of the Spirit, and all the powers of mind begin to desire the Spirit, the perfect way will be opened. To promote spiritual growth, we must live in the spiritual center of the divine that is within us. Spiritual illumination does not come through a mere intellectual process, however exact. It comes only when the desires of the heart are spiritualized by a power that is infinitely greater than man. I think that really summarizes exactly what these kingdoms are about. Can you imagine a world in which everybody on the planet lived in Kingdom 3 or 4? Where everybody lived in that love is the dominant energy. Or in the knowing that we truly are all connected. Every one of us connected. Whatever any one person is doing, it's part of me doing it. So I have 2 challenges for you this week. The first one is every once in a while just stop and pause and ask yourself, what kingdom am I living in right now? Just notice. There's no right or wrong kingdom to live in. As I said, we all move through the different kingdoms. It's not about right or wrong. It's just about upping our level of consciousness that when we're in that kingdom 1, we can eventually laugh at ourselves and move at least into kingdom 2. We might not make it into kingdom 3 right away, but at least we can get out of kingdom 1 in that victim poor me place. So that's the first challenge. Just stop and listen. Listen to your heart. Ask yourself, what kingdom am I living in? And the second is the one that I'm continuing to ask you to do, is to take a few minutes every day and meditate, and just meditate knowing that the virus is reducing by 10% across the globe. That it's going down and down and down. Because I know that prayer makes a difference. So just as a reminder, if you happen to be caught up in that COVID-19 space, we're going to do the 3 breath practice. Breath 1 is taking a deep breath, knowing there is only one life. Breath 2, taking a deep breath and knowing that that life is God. And breath 3, that life is my life now. And when we do that and we know that the life of God is our lives now, we're at least moving into that 3rd kingdom where love is the dominant force. So, let's pray. What I know to be the truth is that this community coming together, even if it be via Facebook Live, is connected because we are indeed all one. We are all indeed connected to that one source that is God, that is each of our lives. There is a unity in which we are not separated, and we don't see ourselves as separate from each other. And granted, we take time to connect with the joy and the love and the spirit of freedom and ease and grace that is our divine inheritance. We take time to connect with that limited abundance of who we are. And I know that each of us, every person watching, has this opportunity to know the truth of themselves, that they are indeed love, joy, peace, expressing. So I am grateful. I am grateful to remember that the God without is the God within each of us. I am grateful for the knowing that wherever each of us are, God is right there, as us, in us, surrounding us. And it's from that gratitude that I release these words into the law of mind, spirit, and action. What I know to be the truth is that the divine has already called all of this good. so I can say amen, release it, let it be, and we can affirm it together. And so it is. I want to thank you for coming, and I want to mention that this would be the time in our service, if we were having real services, where we would actually do a donate. And we would be passing the baskets. You can donate through Zella, through Venmo, through the website. There's a place where you can actually mail in a check, or you can hit the donate button and it allows you to donate through PayPal. And so there's multiple ways for us to receive your gift of gratitude for these messages coming to you from Facebook Live, because we're still paying for our building even though we're not able to use it. So we appreciate your donations. And I also want to remind you of a couple things. One is that right after our service at 11:30, we have a community discussion line. You can call in and talk about the service. You can ask questions. You can connect with other people. I give people an opportunity to just talk about what it is they liked, what it is they had questions about. Then we spend some time connecting with ways that we can do this stay at home in a more joyful way. So we take suggestions about that as well. And if you want to do that, just call into the number. It's also on the Facebook page, and put in the participant code, and it's a conference call. It usually lasts about a half an hour, but you can come and go as you'd like. And it starts at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So thank you very much for showing up today. If you are not getting our daily words of wisdom and you want to get them, send me a message at revlarrye, REVLARRYE, at CSL Southeast, and the word Southeast has to be spelled out, la.org. You can go to our website and get that information as well. So have a great week. Just pay attention to those kingdoms of consciousness. And I hope that you have an opportunity to really live a lot of your week in Kingdom 3. So take care. Until we meet again, may you be wrapped in the arms of love and kindness. And may your life be filled with joy and happiness. And so it is.